Pulleys. A pulley is a wheel that is free to turn on an axle. A wheel is called a sheave. It has a grooved rim that holds a cord or rope. Like the wheel and axle, the pulley is a variation of the lever. It is a circular lever that rotates around its fulcrum. Pulleys can be fixed or movable. The wheel of a fixed pulley turns, but the pulley itself does not move. It is attached to a bar, beam, or other solid elevated position. A fixed pulley offers no mechanical advantage. The force you apply is equal to the force of the load. The distance you apply, the effort, is the same as the distance the load moves. A fixed pulley is useful because it changes the direction of effort. When you pull down on a rope, the load moves up. Many people find pulling down easier than pulling up. People can use their body weight when pulling down to lift a load. A fixed pulley is found at the top of a flagpole. The flag is attached to a rope which runs through the pulley and forms a loop. Pulling down on one side causes the other side of the rope to go up. The flag can be raised to the top of the pole, lowered again by a person on the ground. Fixed pulleys also raise and lower window blinds and sails on boats. A movable pulley is attached to the load. One end of the rope is attached to the fixed surface high overhead. The other end of the rope goes down through the pulley attached to the load and then back up to the top. When you pull up on the other end of the rope, the load moves up. Though the movable pulley does not change the direction of effort, it offers a mechanical advantage. The load is supported by rope on both sides of the pulley. See A and B in the illustration at right. That means half as much effort is needed to lift the load. You can gain effort, but the cost is distance. You must exert effort twice as far as the load moves. A fixed pulley and a movable pulley can be used together. Connected pulleys make a compound pulley. The rope runs up to the fixed pulley, down and around the movable pulley, and back up to where it is attached to a fixed surface on or near the fixed pulley. You gain both a mechanical advantage and a change in the direction of effort when you use this compound pulley. The fixed pulley allows you to pull down to move the load up. The movable pulley halves the effort needed to lift the load. Once again, effort must be exerted twice as far as the load moves. A compound pulley system is called a block and tackle. The pulleys are blocks because early pulleys were carved from blocks of wood. The rope, cord, or chain used with pulleys is the tackle. The more pulleys there are in a block and tackle, the less effort is needed to raise the load. That's because the added pulleys provide more sections of rope to help support the load. Using a compound pulley, effort must be applied over 2 centimeters to lift a load 1 centimeter. Making a fixed pulley. What you need: an empty spool, wire coat hanger, 1 meter of ribbon wide enough to fit between the spool rims, a bag with looped handles or small plastic bucket, small objects to lift. What you do: untwist the wire to separate the 2 ends of the coat hanger. Be careful when handling the untwisted hanger. The ends can be sharp. Thread the center of the spool over one end of the wire. Twist the wire back together. The hanger will again be a closed triangle shape with the spool threaded down into the wire. Grab the hanger at the 2 side corners of the triangle. Push the corners towards each other so that the wire begins to form a circle. Move the spool to the section of the wire furthest away from the hook. With the spool opposite the hook, continue to push the sides of the wire together. Form the wire into a long, straight loop. Shape the wire so that the spool is held in place but is able to turn freely. Hook the hanger onto a rod in a closet. Tie one end of the ribbon to the bag handles or the handle of the bucket. Slide the other end of the ribbon over the spool. Place the small objects in the bag or bucket. Now pull down on the free end of the ribbon. You have created a working pulley. Be careful not to let go of the ribbon while you have objects in the bag or bucket. The objects may fall and land on your toes. Dear Boss, Dear Boss, I write this note to you to tell you of my plight, and at the time of writing I am not a pretty sight. My body is all black and blue, and my face is deadly gray. and I hope you'll understand why Patty's not at work today. I was working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear, and throwing them down from such a height was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he being an awful sod. He said I'd have to take them down the ladder in my hod. Now shifting all those bricks by hand, it seemed so awful slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured a rope below. But in my haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. Now when I came down, I cut the rope, and the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. I shot up like a rocket, and to my dismay I found that halfway up I met the bloody barrel coming down. Now the barrel broke my shoulder, as to the ground it sped, and when I reached the top, I struck the pulley with my head. I still clung on, though numbed and shocked, from this almighty blow, and the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Now when the bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, sure I then outweighed the barrel, and I started down once more. Still clinging tightly to the rope, I headed for the ground, and I fell among the broken bricks that were all scattered round. As I lay there moaning on the floor, sure I thought I'd passed the worst, and the barrel struck the pulley wheel, and didn't the bottom burst. A shower of bricks came down on me, sure I hadn't got a hope, and as I was losing consciousness, I let go the bloody rope. Now the barrel being heavier, it started down once more, and it landed right across me as I lay there on the floor. I broke 3 ribs in my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you'll understand why Patty's not at work today.